one thing that I'm not actually oddly sold on is the story at this point. Why this story? You know, why the like Maltese Falcon prop? If the answer is producibility, okay, I'm listening. But I think I do want to see if there's something a little bit deeper there that we can zero in on.
It's definitely a personal story. The main character is definitely like a mirror reflection of myself, and just this idea of the romanticized version of something versus the reality of it. There's an element of it that's kind of like this love letter to Los Angeles and noir and Raymond Chandler and all that sort of stuff. I've been bouncing around this movie for almost like 10 years now. I even made like a very like lo-fi like short version of it when I was like 23. And then I started reading these like really interesting stories, like real stories about the Maltese Falcon prop, that like one of them was stolen from a restaurant in San Francisco, and like one of them like wound it up in this dentist somehow got it and ended up selling for millions of dollars, and like Steve Wynn bought it, and like Leonardo DiCaprio has one, and like there's this back and forth of like which ones, how authentic are each of these, and like, oh, this one's actually from this 1975 movie and not the actual Maltese Falcon. There's all this like weird stuff about it. After Dorothy's shoes and James Bond's car, it's the most valuable movie prop in history.
Like that story there, that's really interesting. I think the question is, for an audience member who knows none of that,
right?
How does what you just say translate into this story? Because I think part of it is, how do you bring that into that world where that's going to resonate in the same fashion?
To me, it's not really about the plot of the Falcon. It doesn't really even matter. It's more about the character and the journey. And because the whole story is about how you have to get out of your comfort zone in order to be comfortable with who you are. And, you know, a lot of these movies, you know, like those noir movies and the Chandler books, and like even like more recent ones like The Big Lebowski and stuff, when you get, by the time you're in the middle of it, the plot almost becomes secondary to the interactions and moments created by these unique characters. My joke is that it is The Big Lebowski meets After Hours.
I want to see that vibe come across in the pitch find a creative way to do that. Right now, I think I was significantly less excited reading the treatment than I am hearing about the possibilities that you have humor-wise with this, because I think if this movie's legitimately funny and we can do this at a high craft level, that becomes a really interesting story to tell. So it'd be three things. The three things you're probably going to have to do to sell us on it is prove that you can make it, demonstrate that like you have a bulletproof process for making it, and probably that we can trust you to go do it and not think it's going to be a clusterfuck and make it so that the movie that we end up screening is going to embarrass us.
Yes.
Look, it's a concern.
Absolutely. So, you don't want that. No one wants that. I don't want that.
We're all taking a risk here. Like we're all showing up. We're doing the things. You want this to go well. Like the same way you want to be in a position to succeed, the investors want to not feel like morons for thinking this was a good idea.
Go to WeMakeMovies.org and become a member today.